Good afternoon and welcome to Actors Theater of Indiana Lunch Break with ATI. I'm excited to be here. My name's Brad Osborne and I've got a guest who has been well known throughout Indianapolis for many, many years, Indianapolis and Carmel. His name is Mark Ambrogi. Did I get that close enough?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, well, you know what? I realized in the 15 years that I've been acquainted with Mark, I'd been pronouncing his name wrong.
Yeah, it doesn't usually bother me.
Okay. Well, I would imagine most people that get to hear and watch Lunch Break with ATI would know you from articles that you have currently in the current publishing.
Right.
Do you consider that a special interest writer, or what is it? When I love it when I see an article come through that you wrote it.
I'm the entertainment editor, so I write a lot of the entertainment stories. I still do. My career has mostly been as a sports writer, and I still dabble in that. But for the current, I do a lot of their sports stories and other general interest stories. Like I did the story on you being a bus driver for Carmel Schools several years ago.
Oh, thanks, Mark.
And I've written about your daughter with her career.
Thank you so much.
And Scott as well with his sculptures. So.
Thank you, Mark. We really appreciate it. And you know that article that you wrote for the bus drivers. I don't know if you remember, if I've mentioned it to you, but I had 7 bus drivers come to me after they were hired as bus drivers and said that article is what put them over the hurdle of choosing to be a school bus driver.
Right.
And
And they need them, and the kids loved you.
Oh, it was so much fun. And hey, where do your how do you get the leads for the different stories that you write?
Well, a lot of it's based on things that are going on at this Allied Solutions Center,
Okay.
the resident companies, some of the other places around town that hold plays and concerts. We're kind of breaking out a little bit more and doing a little concerts, maybe more than India on occasionally.
Okay.
That might interest some younger readers online, but we just do a mix and do a lot of previews events to let people know what's going on and concerts coming up. This afternoon, I'm going to interview Carl Palmer of Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
I saw that being promoted.
Coming to the, he's the last living member, but coming to the center. And I interviewed Mike Riley from Pure Prairie League early in the week. So we try to preview a lot of those things that are going on around town here, Carmel, Fishers. Of course, we have 6 editions. So
yeah, that's right.
So we try to touch on all of them. In the entertainment, often we run in, depending on space, run in all the editions, especially concerts at the center.
Fantastic. Well, I mean, truly, I look for your writing, and I look for Anne Marie's. I tell you, the two of you do such a great job of analyzing and expressing. I mean, I truly do love it, and I hope more people look at the current. If you're not getting it sent to you every day in the email, you're missing out, because in the email blast that we get daily,
Current morning briefing. Yeah.
Yes. You're getting info in Zionsville, Geist area, Westfield. It's stuff that you need to know if you're living in this general area. And Current does a terrific job.
Right.
Of
Restaurants always get big.
Any
kind of restaurants closing or opening. Get a big response online.
I'll bet. Oh, remember Reed Duffy?
Golly,
years ago.
Dating yourself. He hasn't been around for a while, but I remember Reed. So
oh my gosh.
He was popular.
Yeah. Well, right here we're looking at quite a few of the old posters from ATI shows. Do any certain shows that we've had come to mind right now?
One that I really enjoyed because of Mr. Confidential. I just liked the story, and the acting was great, and Don was great in it.
Oh,
And there's so many, Judy and Cindy are great in everything. Cindy's always funny. I remember Ruthless, I think, right?
Oh, yeah, right.
Both was one.
Yeah.
Just a recent one that they put on, but a lot of the comedies and then they'll have that two-man show sometimes.
Yep.
Or just a lot of quick things. But I find the acting always impressive at ATI, and of course the three
Thanks.
founders all do a good job.
Yep, and we reference ourselves as Broadway in your backyard because we have so many Actors Equity performers that are notches above others, and so
Right.
we're so thankful for that. And I love it when you and Nikki come to our VIP parties. So hey, our next production is 9 to 5, and let's see, that one's coming out April 5th, 25th.
25th.
25th. And so if you're a part of that production, we'd love to invite you to the VIP party also.
I'm sure we'll be talking to get the people to know who's going to be in it, and
Yeah, right.
and then that it's a musical based on that old Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin,
Yep, that's
Dabney Coleman movie.
Yep.
But drawn from that. Dolly Parton wrote
Yep.
Dolly Parton too. So,
Yep.
So I'm sure that's one people have been looking forward to on their schedule.
Absolutely, and so that's coming up.
The Johnny Cash one to open the season
Wasn't that
was
great?
was great.
Yeah.
So and you know.
And we're
and
looking.
Judy did a great job when she did Patsy Cline.
Wasn't that wonderful? I for the next 2 or 3 weeks, I think all I had on my Amazon Music was Patsy Cline.
Right.
I loved Judy's presentation of it, and it kept going. But isn't that one of the reasons why we go to theater anyway? You know, it's to take a vacation from life, isn't it?
Right.
And
Yeah.
and how do you speak to so many performers in your role of a special interest entertainment writer? How have you found that some of these guys actually unwind? And I mean, they have a big job
Right.
to come prepared every day. You ever observe some things on how they actually slow down and be ready for the show?
Well, I think there's some interactions. They might get time to go to the break room and repeat some lines, or just kick back and read something else. Get on their phones or get on their iPads. But
Yep.
I'm sure that obviously it's amazing. ATI puts on their shows with a pretty short run up before at Civic they might be practicing for 6-7 weeks before a show.
Right.
Whereas it's usually a 2-week span often right before ATI.
Yeah,
So
right.
I have to I have to come in and get the actors to get its story in before it premieres,
Right.
So before it's so obviously, but they're professionals. That's why it's an equity thing, and I'm sure they, I know a lot of them get the scripts and talk about that. I remember talking to Johnny Cash, actress that was in it, and saying, well, they've had the material for a while and been practicing on their own, and but they only get that certain time to do it
Yeah.
together. Another great show I just remembered that they had was when they did Judy Garland, and they did it a few times. That with
Yeah.
with the 3 women playing Judy Garland at different ages.
Isn't that amazing?
And sometimes I think I interviewed one of the little girls who played one Judy, and now she's a grown up and actress in a Lifetime movie.
Yeah,
I did
isn't that
story
amazing?
So but obviously, ATI's been bringing great shows like that for 20 years, right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, one of the things that we also do is we have, you might call it an incubator. We call it the ATI Lab Series, and I think you've done some features on that as well. Our next lab series is Saturday, March 15th,
Right.
and it's
Based on the children's book, or a book about the Wiggles, right?
Cannon Gets the Wiggles. And actually, our artistic team has told us that this is very family friendly. It has to do with working through some epilepsy issues, and we've reached out to the epilepsy group here in central Indiana. Hopefully we'll have some of their board of directors come to it. But the lab series helps playwrights get their work in front of people that are experienced in this well, experienced actors,
to
singers.
do the readings
Yeah,
and,
it's,
to
yeah,
get, and to get some feedback from the audience as well.
gosh, that's
That's
exactly
what's-
right. Yeah.
And,
And then you can, they have things that they can then use as they take it to the next step. But it really is fun to see that. And you mentioned Mr. Confidential. That's one that was really started as a reading here, and then it ended up being one of our productions a few years ago.
right.
Um,
And then people can go see that for free at the library.
Isn't that amazing?
If they register, so, if you're taking back on Saturday afternoon and want to see something pre-production,
Isn't that great?
yeah.
Oh, well, what kind of projects are you working on right now?
Well, I just got done. I also do some work for Associated Press, so I came
Okay.
off a week where I covered 2 Pacers games, 1 Purdue, and helped at the NFL Combine for the
No.
And for fun, I kept that off by going for the Current on Saturday and covering the swimming and Lawrence North and the girls' state basketball
Really?
championship. So,
Oh, fabulous.
but it was a hectic week. But coming off of that, sports might be slowing down here a little bit after the Big Ten and
Yeah.
tournaments. But just the entertainment never stops. April's going to be a big month for a lot of people having shows. Carmel Community Players, Westfield Playhouse
Yes.
have theirs earlier in the month, and
Yeah.
Gregory Hancock as well, and has a show in early April. So, it'll be that time to start digging into that in a couple weeks, along with some of the many of the great shows they have coming up at the center. A lot of ones for boomers like us. You
Yeah.
know, Mickey Dolan for the Monkees is
Yeah,
coming in.
no kidding.
I'm gonna try to talk to him. ELP with Emerson, Lake
Yeah.
and Palmer and Pure Prairie League,
And he's a-
Cincinnati band that my sister actually knew a lot of people in that band from the 70s.
No kidding. And did you say you're interviewing Carson Palmer?
Carson, yeah, that would be good. The Bengals quarterback.
Yeah.
I have interviewed Carson Palmer. I saw him play for USC against Purdue in the 1998 Pigskin Classic. Oh, Carl Palmer.
Carl.
He's the only living member of ELP. What he does is it's going to be a unique thing, and I'll explain it a little bit when I do the preview. Is they made it technical, so they have the parts of Emerson and Lake, who both passed away in 2016. And they're going to show them and go to him. It's like technical, so they'll be there with him.
Oh, that's incredible.
So
And is that at the Allied?
yes,
Center
that's at the
Solutions?
Palladium. Yeah, March 21st, I think.
Okay, incredible. And I saw Herb Alpert was coming in.
Yes, that just got announced.
Oh,
So
my
I
gosh.
talked to him a few years ago before an appearance, so
Incredible.
it's interesting that he's still going. I think he's got to be late 70s, 80s.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I've enjoyed, having some of his stuff roll through on YouTube because it just sounds so great.
right.
And hey, tell us, what are some of the things you'd pursue if you knew you couldn't fail? Is there anything like
Some
that?
of the things I knew.
Yeah, you haven't done before that would be visions, something fun that you're a passion, something.
You know what I found, and a lot of it's come is I go around and I have to see a lot of performers before they stop performing, and I like all forms of music and entertainment, but probably my passion is a lot of people when they're growing up 60s, 70s rock and roll.
Yeah.
Going to see last year, I traveled out of town to see Neil Young.
Oh,
I'm
no
going to
kidding.
see Paul Simon. I thought I saw him on his last run, but he's coming to Milwaukee and going
Really?
to see him. So I don't have a lot of things that I didn't want to do because I never wanted to be anything but a newspaper man, really. So since I was in the 8th grade,
That is fantastic.
I wasn't good at math. I wasn't great at science, but I liked sports. I liked all kinds of writing, and if you're a sports writer, we like to say that we can write anything because sports often is about people and personalities,
Right.
and that's what other entertainment writing's about often, or you're previewing games or you're previewing concerts.
Yeah.
There's some similarities of how you approach things, but I never was one to really create a bucket list other than saying, boy, I'd like to see them before they're done. I missed out. I never saw Tom Petty, and then I thought he'd have another chance, and he passed away. So now I'm kind of committed to seeing anybody that I want to see before they go.
Yeah, that's great.
But my son and I, Dan, went to the Eagles at the Sphere. I've seen the Eagles a bunch of times, but I thought, if I don't go to Vegas many more times, I'd like to see the Sphere.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Personally, I love watching it during the F1 race that's held out there.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
yeah.
so that's pretty cool.
Right.
When you started talking about the 60s, or 70s and 80s and the rock and roll from then, and down in Cincinnati, and then all of a sudden my mind raced back to, was it Q101 or whatever it
Oh,
was?
yeah,
So those rock and roll stations back in Cincinnati in the 70s, because I was at Miami University.
WSAI was
Yeah.
top 40.
Yeah, right.
And,
Oh, those are great times. But we always made time for the Reds in October.
right. Yeah. So, yeah.
That was great. Well, if you had some advice for some young people that thought they might be interested in a career of journalism, what would you tell them?
Ooh, that's a tough one these days.
Yeah, really.
With what's happening with Metro papers. I mean, I
Yeah.
worked at the Star for 29 years, and I took a buyout because I survived 8 layoffs. I wasn't sure about the next one, but
Yeah.
they just, if you're pursuing journalism, what I would say is that it's going to help you in any field you go.
Mm-hmm.
In PR, if you learn how to write correctly and to talk to people and ask questions, you can be. There are a lot of, I don't consider myself, but there's a lot of journalists, introverts, but they're able to talk to people and they're able to, communicate in that way, and they kind of get their, kind of explore things. But I think it'll help you in any field, no matter what kind of person you are, But there's always going to be ways that journalists are needed, but with the explosion of blogging and the fact community papers like ours are doing well because the metros don't have the people to cover the metros. They're the areas or the high school sports and all the areas like they used to. At one time at the Star we had 6 prep writers. By the time the last few years I was there, we was down to 2.
Oh my gosh!
So you use stringers and all, but it's it was 6 full time for a long time, and we had zones. So,
Yeah.
But I would say that if you're interested in it, there's always going to be room for you, and if you're good and talented, you'll find work. There's still, but it's just it used to be you made it to a metro, you made it.
Yeah, right.
And now there's just not that many metro jobs.
Yeah.
With the shrinking size of newspaper staff.
When did you start in the Indianapolis market?
1985.
85.
So
Incredible.
Yeah. So
There were some incredible high school.
So I was 27.
Yeah.
Then. So.
Incredible. That's amazing. Tell us, in 2023, you became part of the Hall of Fame of was it sports writers? What's the
Indiana Sports Writers and Sportscasters Hall of Fame.
Incredible. Yeah, that was. I remember at the time that Steve Greenberg had and Anne Marie promoted it. I did go print it out again so I could see it, because that is so fantastic honor, and you
Means I'm old.
well, we are.
One of my friends made out a good point, or a former coworker at the Star, and they go, "At least it's not posthumous."
Yeah, right. That's right. Well, that just triggered the Star Sports department was absolutely such a fantastic group, and I remember Bob Williams and
Right. He had just retired just a little bit before me, but Bob Collins was still the sports editor. Bill Benner, Robin Miller.
Yeah. Mark Schneider.
Mark Schneider was there. And later we had my friend Dan Duncan and Conrad Brunner came on, and Tom Reitman. So then Mark Monteith later, and so a lot of guys that are in that Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's good to see Mark popping up in the IBJ every now and then.
Right, yeah, Mark's still going at it, and Bill transitioned into being sort of sports administration and public relations for a thing. But Robin was writing until he passed away for various outlets and on TV.
Yeah,
so,
incredible. What
a
treasure he was.
Right. So Robin and Bill probably were two of my more of my mentors a little bit. They're a little bit older than me. Mike Chappell and Phil Richards.
Yep.
Phil Richards might be the best writer, period, that the Star ever had.
Incredible.
So Mike Chappell, Phil Richards, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
all left at the same time. They had been there a year longer, but they were a little bit older. So, but
Yeah.
Chapp's still working. You can find him on 59 and
Okay.
Channel 4 doing the Colts coverage that he's been doing since they came to town.
Incredible. Wow. Yeah, it's hard to believe. March 30th, 1984.
Right when the
They rolled in as we were going to our rehearsal dinner for our wedding.
oh really? Passing the. That's pretty funny.
Oh, hey, well, I'm so thankful. I'll admit I was a little nervous today because I've admired and respected you so much and know that you're the expert at interviews and at being able to tell a story, that I was a bit nervous coming and having an opportunity to chat with you. I think it's worked out okay.
Right. I wasn't worried.
But you're a
We talk
hero.
all the time.
You're a hero. And just so we can wrap up our lunch break with ATI, let me give you some of those dates again. We have on Saturday, March 15th, the ATI Lab Series with Kanan Gets the Wiggles. I might have mispronounced Kanan's name, but I definitely got Wiggles right.
Yeah.
April 25th to May 11th, we have 9 to 5, and that's going to be at the Studio Theater. On June 5th, seats are selling fast for the first ATI Gala that's going to be at Hotel Carmichael. It's fantastic. And the gifts that we're having, speaking of sports, our executive director, Brian Frost, showed up with a basketball signed by Gene Katie. So we have that. And then all of a sudden, my wife, IU grad, Meg, she's a doer, and she thought, hey, IU needs to get in the action. So she got connected to some of her IU connections, and we are going down to pick up a signed football by Kurt Signetti. And since he's only been here for 1 year, there aren't a lot of autographed footballs.
Right.
So get it while it's hot. And that'll be one of the auction items that we have at the gala. And then on June 20th and 21st, we have Titanic the Musical. This is an incredible production. I mean, incredible. We're talking, remember Sweeney Todd?
They
Yeah.
had that in the Palladium too.
Yeah, right. This is going to be at the Palladium. In addition, Titanic the Musical, Midwest premiere, and it also includes performing artists from Carmel Symphony Orchestra and I think it's the Indianapolis Chorale. I might have that name wrong, and I apologize if I do. But this is going to be top notch. And then one more thing, even though we're going into our 25-26 season, we will have a reveal party in the early mid-April. I don't remember the exact date, but that's something else you can look for, so you can find out what you get to enjoy next year. And like some of us often say, it's that wonderful 2-hour vacation that you need. So, Mark, thank you again for
right.
joining us
Good to be
today.
here.
Lunch break with ATI. We'll look forward to seeing you soon. We'll look forward to seeing you soon at some of these events. And I hope you can join us next week on Lunch Break with ATI. Have a great one. Oh, right there.